我那个 YouTube 也开直播喽。
哦，好，有，好，开始哦，我开始录喽。
好。
哎，等下，
Okay, everyone is ready? We will become the YouTuber today. Yeah.
Okay, hello everyone. This is our topic, the factors influencing the choice of the beverage consumption. And we narrow the area down. We only focus on bubble tea. And my name is Trisha. This is Hannah and Sandra. And our advisor is Professor Heidi. And this is our today's agenda. First, I'll talk about the introduction. Then in the detail, although we have already tell you about what we are going to do in the midterm presentation, but this time we will introduce it more in detail. I will talk about introduction, and Hannah will talk about literature review, and Sandra will talk about the research method. This is our research background. We include why the motivation, that's why we want to do English research. First of all, you can see the increase of the consumption in Taiwan. Since 2005 to 2018, it has already reached 962 billion yuan, and with an average annual consumption growth of 8.9% over here. And from the January to April of the 2019 year, it has already reached $322 billion. And so they were expected to over 1,000 billion yuan in 2019. And the consumption of the beverages have already exceeded 1 billion cups a year. And this is the picture for the bubble tea meeting, and it is held by the Economic Affairs and Foreign Trade Association to discuss about the bubble trend in global market and how to do the market to the global to show our history. And this is our research objective. So first of all, we want to examine consumption behavior towards tea stores. And the second one is to explore the factors and motivations when buying tea and how satisfied consumers are with the tea industry in Taiwan. And the third one is to improve the quality of tea stores by knowing the factors influencing the choice toward bubble tea. As we know, a lot of college students or even the master students, they do a lot of subjects like this. But this time we want to more focus on what's the difference between consumer stalls and the owner's stalls or even the workers in the shop stalls. Because if we know the differences, then the stores in Taiwan, they can more improve their products. So this is our research question. The first one is, what are the factors influencing the consumer behavior choosing bubble tea? And the second one is, what are the factors influencing bubble tea owners' choice on operating a tea store? And the third one is there any differences between what consumers want and what stores provide to the customer? And the fourth one is our bubble tea stores accommodating customer as how clients expect them to be. Then those are the questions it will show on our questionnaire, and all questions also will be answered in chapter 5. And this is our research process. The first one, introduction, and the second one is where we are doing right now. It's about literature review and design the research. And what we will do after is to do the data calculation and analyze and do a conclusion.
And the literature review history of bubble tea can be traced to 1949. Zhang Fanshu, he was a bartender in the wine house, and he used a shaker cup to make the iced tea, and it became the essence of the handshake and also an important step of making bubble tea. And to the 1986, Hanling Tea House founder that he tried to add the bigger and black tapioca balls into the milk tea, and which is known as a prototype of bubble tea. In the 1988, Chen Shuitang claimed that they were the first founder of bubble tea making bubble tea, and so Chen Shuitang and the Hanling Tea Shop, they decided to go to the court to fight for the title that the first founder of bubble tea. And it turns out that just saying bubble tea isn't a patent. It can be made by everyone. And second, customer expectation. Customer expectation has two keys. First is to obtain customer service and the support, because customer want to have a high quality service and the best support. And second is to customer loyalty and the reward. According to a study, say that over 15% customer that expect to have a specialized treatment as customer being long-term customer and loyal. And third, marketing strategy. And marketing strategy is a process based on customers' need, and it can organize business activity in an organized way, such as product price and the promotion progress. Through the marketing strategy, company can keep things organized and knowing which project is working and which is not, and spot the error and adjust to achieve the long-term goals. And the final, customer buying behavior. And this study is using Kotter's customer black box because buyer's mental process is invisible, so it can call as black box. And it has three parts. First here is input and process output. Through all the external stimulation through the customer's mind, and they process and to find out they are going to buy or not to buy. And through this customer buying behavior, we can analyze that the factor affecting customers' choice.
So for the research method, our sampling technique will be the random sampling, but it is again like the pros are for the lack of bias and also the simplicity of the nature of the sampling. And the cons is that it is hard to assess the population and it will need more time because we're going to spread it to a lot of people, which we didn't choose. But for this time, we're going to populate it to everyone who have bought bubble tea. And for the data collection, we will have a close-ended survey, which is still in process of making. And so with the close-ended survey, they will only choose from what we already give them. So they cannot add more answers or anything. And then this questionnaire will be in two forms, which is online and offline, because not a lot of elderly people or like people above certain ages are able to use the online questionnaire, and we wanted to be fair to everyone, so we choose to have two questionnaire users. And what we're doing now is that to revise our literature review and also to find for more questionnaire to make our own, to make it into our nature of research. And for our literature review, we're going to need to relate our variables together and make a concrete review. And also with our questionnaires, we're currently like selecting the questions that are going to be put inside our questionnaire from similar research. And our goals for this month of January during the winter holiday is to correct all of the problems that we had from our meetings from our advisor and to revise everything before mid-January. Thank you, and we'll open the question and answer session.
All right. First of all, thanks for being the first team doing the presentation, and thanks for the entire class to cooperate with this online final presentation. So I will show I'll show the link, the YouTube link to CJ, so he can also review what you have presented during this course. So he will also consider this as the final presentation for the final project, the special project of his class. Okay. The reason why we use this special setting is by using this, we can also have this Q&A section. So I will encourage for the rest of the team, after you do the presentation, I will start with some comments and questions, and I also welcome all the team to ask questions to the presentation team. Okay, so I would consider this is more like a interaction. I would like to help you to do a better job with a special project. So maybe with your advisor, we all have some different perspective, and we can do the brainstorming together. And I really enjoy your class so far. You've been working very hard. So for Trisha's team, I like your presentation. You talk about like the history of the bubble tea. The way they present is like a more academic research project. I know other team might not do like a research base, but this time when you are doing this kind of academic research paper, we start with the introduction, talking about why you are going to do this kind of research. So they do a good job explaining why they have the interest in knowing how people choose bubble tea, what kind of factors might affect their choice. And then they start with, they follow by talking about the bubble tea history. They do the literature review, and then they tell us they are going to do a survey questionnaire, and they are going to ask about people's behavior in choosing bubble tea. Okay, so my question for you is, have you decided how many samples that you are going to collect, and then what methods you are going to apply for your sampling?
So for our sampling, we are hoping to reach to at least 150 people, but then we need to formulate it more so that we don't have the answers right now because we're still deciding on how will we formulate things.
Okay, and for the questionnaire that you have, where do you get the references from? Do you create by yourself or you quote it from the previous study? or what's the questionnaire going to be like?
We're going to research, we're researching currently from other similar researches from the past, and we're going to compile them into our narratives so that we're not making new questions, but we're taking some of questions from research questionnaire and then put it together.
Okay, very good. So the last question would be more like a general question, not really related to the research itself. I would like to ask you to share with the class, what was the challenge that you have during this whole semester working on your special project, and how do you figure out, how do you find the solution so far?
This, you mean the difficulties we faced this semester?
Yeah, or what kind of, how do you feel about this special project, the challenges that you have, or you have something that you want to share with the class regarding to your experience?
The first difficulties that we face is because that we never write a special topic before. So actually, we are still trying to we are still learning about how to write a literature review. Yeah, especially literature review. And the second one is that actually it's a little bit hard to find a reliable questionnaire from online because we found a lot of good papers, but we can search it after maybe 3 years later or 5 years later. They are not open to the public now. And or some of the papers that we need to pay money to see the whole papers, or even they don't say, even they didn't put the questionnaire inside their paper, so then we cannot see all the questionnaires. Really, the second difficulties that we find. And the third one is 3 of us didn't live together, and actually we are not coming to a school every week, so it's actually a little bit hard for us to discuss the project. But thanks to the line, so we fixed it all very good. Thank you.
Okay, very good. All right. Okay, good presentation. It's always difficult to be the first team. Okay, so now you know what the format should be look like. You know, so just talk about your the project you've been done so far, and then I'll ask you questions and give you some comments. Okay. All right. Good job. Second group. Yeah, I can see that. Good.
Okay, before starting, I'm going to share that we're going to talk about Ruka's marriage, and we're going to show we haven't cut this interview. We will edit the video on the presentation.
种田的人、水田的人，不是都会有很多那个类似数字吗？他就会把那个气拿起来。
那卸下名讳及小姐身份的意思是像老师之前讲的是，比如说我是平民，我跟头目结婚，然后我就卸下平民的身份，我的。
And something like this. And today we're going to talk about. Today we're going to talk about like Ruka's class marriage, and this is our research motivation. In the next semester, the final one, we will talk about his history and the marriage. The marriage has class rights and rules, ceremony, and bonus points.
And now we are talking about the class of Lukai. And the first, the leader. The leader is the hereditary system, and the blood relationship must be one who has the qualification to be a leader of the family, and must be married at the same level in order to inherit the class. The leader is the landlord of the tribute and owns land, including forest, the hunting area, the river, which are the provided property of the leader. The leader sublets the property to the common people, and the tenant must pay for the food. And the second is nobility. For the cost relative of the big heads, the leader, they can cultivate the land without paying taxes. The status of the noble is hereditary. The third one is gentry. They between the nobles and the nobility. They are villagers with special achievement of talents, such as the carvers and blacksmith. The leader will give they certain rights, such as wearing feathers and a glass wreath. Their oldest son will inherit the class of the scholars, while the rest will gender. The next one is the common people. The most of them were tenant farmers, and they rent land from farming from big heads. The common people have to pay the duty to the leader, the contents of which are food they cultivated and harvest, or they meet they hunt. Generally speaking, the Lukai people tend to get married in the same class. This PowerPoint is talking about the same level marriage. Because the Lukai they have some rules, the same level marriage, the different level marriage. So this PowerPoint is talking about the same level marriage. The Lukai people tend to get married in the same class. That is, noble marry nobles, and the leader marry leader. The Lukai people have their own basic consideration about the conditions for choosing a spouse, and they have a very strict conservative tendency toward the class identity of the marriage object. They often trace the family background of the marriage object to the strong ancestral identity of several generations, and put forward comments and discussions so as to conform to the principle of matching each other in the process of choosing a spouse in the traditional marriage system. In other words, the higher the class status of the family, the same level marriage must abide by the general mate selection criteria, especially the long hairs who inherit the family name must adopt the same level marriage. The marriage of the same class limit the possibility of the aristocracy seeking marriage partners in the same tribute to a certain extent. Therefore, the aristocracy often entered into marriage outside the tribute, resulting in a wide range of marriage. Even if noble men have sexual relations with common people's children, it is not recognizing as a proper marriage, and they continue to marry noble children.
And the next is the different level of the marriage. If men and women of unequal classes get married, the class status of their children from the perspective of parents, the higher class lower their status as degraded marriage. Otherwise, it is upgrade marriage. Promoted marriage means that the class status of both men and women is not commensurate. When they intend to get married, the lower classes status party must come and compensate the higher classes status party with materials, usually with pottery pots, in order to get unique married. In addition, after marriage, the party with lower class status will not acquire noble status. On the contrary, the party will with higher class status would not degrade his status because he married a person with lower class status. However, children born to both sides can be named after the one with higher social status. In other words, the confirmation of personal status is affected by the class status of parents and spouses and the family status of the house they live in. If the noble marry with the siblings, their status will be lower. If they continue to live in the original house, the class status will be upgraded. But once they move out, their status will be lower. Therefore, all the men and women of the Rukai nationality have the desire to climb over the class by means of promotion marriage. Therefore, when they get married, they always like to find a higher class object and carry out promotion marriage in order to improve the status of their heirs. Even the common people's women sometimes indicated that they want to be concubines of the big leader so that their children can get the social status of the noble classes. And this is our reference. And we put the video on YouTube. So this is the link. And thank you.
Okay, all right, very good. Actually, I was kind of impressed by what you did with Andy. I haven't heard about your detailed information regarding to a special project, but so far so good. And I'm impressed that you actually went all the way to have an interview to start with already. Where do you went, by the way? Where? Wutai. Okay, so make sure when you are doing this kind of interview, you are going to ask the same set of questions. And then are you going to do like a research base or you are going to edit a video? Have you decided yet? 你们要用报告研究的方式，还是要用影音的呈现？
我们有打算做像报道类的，就是朝向报道。
朝向什么 ？documentary
报道，就是一个采访报道这样。
Okay, I think that's a good approach. So you can refer to the documentary. 那叫什么 documentary？ documentary. 等我想到再翻译给你们听。Documentary, so you can be like a, it's not like a news. News can tend to be very short, but you mentioned a very good point. The news, like reports, they usually have very short interview. but because this is like more in-depth information, like a documentary, you can have a more, it's a longer and more detailed information that you can release to the audience. So you can record few of the video during the interview, and then you can have, you can talk about that, you know, like you can edit the voice yourself and give comments, right? So you can do also like editing, and it's going to be a documentary. How do we call it? Documentary.
纪录片。
Huh?
纪录片。
Yeah, 纪录片. Yeah. Do you like to do like a documentary?
我其实蛮喜欢看这种东西的。
Yeah, okay. So I think you can refer to documentary, and I think you have very good material to do in that way. You know, like you have the video, and you also, after you do some interview, as a reporter, you can kind of like summarize what's their similarity and differences. So you can do a comparison, and you can edit, you know, yourself. And when you are talking about the similarity, you can do different group, and then you can say, oh, they have this kind of similarity. When you talk about the differences, you can group the information together as well. So since Andy liked documentary, and David, I think you are good at editing the video. So I think that can be a good direction you had to. Okay. So my question for you first is, how many more interviews you decided to collect data from? 还要去访问多少人?
Maybe like 2 more times.
2 more?
2到3次去。
But you have so many different races, right? Different group. 我们有13组，你只有问三个组够吗？
我们只有一个。
我们只有一个组啊。
我们只有一个，我们专注在一个而已。
Okay, now maybe the same group, but you have different location. 不同，对不对？同一个组，可是你现在这个是去哪里？你说雾台。
我们有去雾台跟屏东长治那边的2个部落。
哦 ，OK， 三地门应该也有。
三地门就是在雾台，这跟雾台是同一个部落，算同一群的。
OK，
就是
那还有其他地方吗？
高雄分3个组去。
那卢凯族还有在其他台湾的地方吗？
屏
东吗？
屏东，台东的台九线的附近的山路上，我记得。
Okay. So I would say you have 2 from Pingdong area or Kaohsiung, and then you can have 1 more location. So you can compare, even they are all Lukai. Do they have any differences? I think they might have, because of the location, because of the landscape. They will affect their lifestyle. They will also affect those key points that you try to analyze. So try to do that way. Either you do all of them at the same area, or you can have from different area. You can do the comparison, and your documentary will be more detailed, and then you have more in-depth information that you can say. Even Lukai is either from your talk, you can say Lukai locates in, I don't know, maybe it's also in Huari and Taitung. I don't know if they have in some other places on the West Coast. If they do, you can talk about that before you start to show the interview. You have a introduction with your voice and with some picture that you took probably, and then you can introduce that kind of part. It will be like a research paper for the literature review introduction, and then you follow with the data you show with the video. Then you can talk about what you find from this video, right? Okay. So the last question that I'm going to ask you is the same thing like first group. What was the challenge that you have so far, and how do you solve the problem or solve the issues that you encounter with during the semester?
Because of the teacher time, he's a teacher in the elementary school, so he don't have like every time we like talk to her, and she don't have time to reply us our message, and we don't have time to go to the elementary school to find her. Not all the time is true.
Mm-hmm. And then how do you figure that out? How do you solve that problem?
So because we are he worked in GAP and I work in the the
就是我
arena.
们俩都有工作，
So we delete our 我们删除我们的班，
Ah,
去配合老师的时间。
okay, very good. So I can see you are devoting to this special project. I really think that you will have a good result out of this. You know, at least you can create a video, like just like I said. You know, if you are interested in documentary, and they can be a very good material for you to save, and then you might have a lot of people watching that. You never know. Good job so far. Okay, can you ask if they have any question from the class? Everyone, do you have any question for Andy and David or comments?
Q&A.
有任何问题吗？
Okay, no.
没有，他们没有问题。
Okay, all right, thanks. Next group. Do we need a break or we can continue? We can continue, right? Yeah, let's continue.
还没有开始哦。
Okay, sure. Go ahead. Thank you.
So, this is our topic, Emily in Paris, a feminist critical evolution. But we still need to adjust about it, so we write temporary title over here. And I'm Luby, this is my team member, Vivian and Amy. 还有 Amy. So today we'll talk about the introduction and our research method and the literature review and our future plan. So from the beginning of the feminist movement to now the most discussed, Me Too and Time's Up. These two are the famous woman movement nowadays. And people seem to be paying more and more attention to women's rights. And I will talk about some basic idea about these two movements. So Me Too is a social movement against sexual abuse and sexual harassment, where people publicize allegations of sex crimes committed by powerful and prominent men. And Time's Up is a movement against sexual harassment founded on January 1st, 2018 by Hollywood celebrities in response to the Weinstein effect and the Me Too movement. But in the film industry, women still suffer a lot of unequal treatment at their work. And our project topic will discuss the unequal treatment of women in the film industry and the impact of the imbalance of sex ratio of workers on the presentation of films. And we will talk about more details in our literature review. And our research question is that because movies are usually written, directed, and produced by men, and their general stereotype on women, thus affecting the presentation of women in the movies and how feminism is being portrayed, not only inside the film, but also in the movie industry. And we will talk about more in our paper, and we will set some example about it. Like Emily in Paris is our main example.
So we're going to talk about our research method. Our research method is using mostly qualitative analysis. By using this method, we want to study the background and cases of unequal treatment of women and the problem that they face in the film industry, like how that women directors or screenwriters are being treated in the industry nowadays. And we studied that thing by reading many books, videos, interviews, and articles, and some essay that other university students or maybe professor written about this problem. And we use them as our research source and integrate them into the interpretation and analysis. And by using this method, we can know that many other people's opinion onto this problem, because not many essay written about this unequal treatment in the film industry. That's why we use this method to know more about how other people in other industry feels about this problem. And then we are going to use a newer method, content analysis. We will analyze the working concept of the industry to give a better view of why the film industry has so much effect on the content. Like we said before, the content that we have in movie is been affected by the industry, mostly because of men are overpowering women. And also in our essay, we will use Emily in Paris as an example of our analysis. In our essay next semester, you will see that we have the content in that series analyzed and how it is compared. It is being used in our essay to prove our point of how the industry is affecting the content in some series and movie shows.
And literature review, we read many books and essays as our research resource. And today we have integrated some information from them and for today's presentation. And first, I'm going to introduce the problem that women face in the film industry. And first one is the proportion of workers is seriously unbalanced. And as you can see this chart, this is the data from USC and Inclusion Initiative, which documenting diversity and inclusion yearly in the top 100 films. And this chart indicates that in the 100 top grossing movie of 2019, there have 112 directors, but only 12 women. 12 were women. And total of 294 scriptwriters, and the women only have 57 and account for only 19.4%. And for the producer and composer, and the proportion of women is also small, only 24.3 and 5.2%. And from this, we can see a serious imbalance in the work ratio of men and women. And the red one is woman and the gray one. Gray one is men. So additionally, in the industry, women are more engaging in so-called women's work. Oh, no. Sorry. And for example, women are doing the costume design or director or actor's assistants rather than doing the important, prestigious, and creative work like men. And even some scriptwriters, once their script be acceptable, they will change their name to masculine name. And women also get very little resource in the film industry. And but still need to bear the pressure of box office and unfair criticism from the outside world. And next is how women usually presented in film. And first, the roles of women in movie are often support men. Women sometimes portrayed as someone who needs to save by men. And like woman screaming, crying is also a part of element that can be seen in the movie scene. And because of general stereotype on women, the presentation of women in movie becomes weak and cowardly. And on the contrary, the men become hero and more authoritative in the movie. And additionally, women are sometimes be presented as sexual object and erotic scene because the movie has been aided the male gaze. And through this viewing angle, the audience can get satisfaction and pleasure by watching the movie. And we give an example is from the movie Fast and Furious. Like this character, Ramsey, wear bikini and walking on the beach. In the scene, the camera closely focus on her figure. And we think that scene is a good example that can explain the movie at the male gaze. And why women will be presented like this, and we think it's because movies are usually produced and directed by men. And the general stereotype about the man producer or the general stereotype about the male producer who have this idea add the stereotype and male gaze into their work, so affecting the presentation of women in the movie. And so it can say that the imbalance problem in the industry can affect the movie work and then affect the presentation of the woman.
So this is our future plan. In our second semester, we will gather more resources to strengthen our research thesis. We will try to gather like more books about feminism and like books like Commodity Feminism that is targeted to written about feminism in the film industry, and then we will analyze the content of feminism in Emily in Paris. Also the industry culture in the film industry, and then we'll finish the paper, reach a conclusion. Yes. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, very good. So go back to the previous slide, please. Okay, yeah, actually I enjoy listening to your presentation. You did a decent job, awesome job actually, not just decent. This is kind of challenging to you because I heard at the beginning you thought that you don't have to do a literature review, right? But from the beginning I kind of like your topic because you are very clear that you want to emphasize on the feminism in some kind of movie. And I think that's a good direction. That's a good topic. For the future, if you want to study something like, like sociology or even like public media, things like that, feminism is a good topic that a lot of movie is hitting to. Even in the management, we talk about this feminism already. Okay, so I think for the future plan, that's a good direction that you should head to. You just need to consider how much time you have for this special project. You have another 4 months to, maybe 4 months, right, including the winter break. So you need to gather more resources. So my recommendation for you might be, before you look for more movies, maybe it's good to study about what is feminism. And then you can pick up few points. What do you mean by feminism? Do they focus on like, I don't know, replacing the male role, or kind of anything talk about like feminism. And I think European, like some of the European country, they focus more on this feminism than the American culture. You don't have to talk about Asian culture. I don't think feminism is a very big picture here. So you can find some literature maybe from European perspective. After you review those feminism literature, then you come back to watch the movie. You will have more focus, like what kind of content you are going to pick, right? Does it make sense? Okay, so otherwise, if you look at if you just keep watching the movie but you don't know what feminism is, then you don't know how to pick up those points that the director tried to emphasize. Feminism is not just picking up the female actress, or like you say, how they present the female in the movie. No, I think the director also have some information, have some storytelling that they want to show from the movie and try to present the feminism perspective. Okay, so we have a lot of feminism movie. You might not have time to review all of that, but you will have time to read some literature. After you read that, then you can pick a few points. And after you pick up those focus, then you go and watch the movie, put down those points that you think you see from the movie. And that was actually talking about feminism. Okay, I think there will be a relatively smaller scope that you can focus on for your special project, because you only have like 4 months. Then for the future, if you are going to make your own movie, as you are female, you are all female, so you have your female perspective already, but you have some knowledge of regarding to what is feminism in the movie, right? Okay, so my question for you is, what is your next step following with this 5 plan, and what was your biggest challenge so far during the special project?
Read book. Literature.
下一步要做什么？
去看书，
看书。
看超多，再看更多书。然后还有那个
like what kind of book did you refer to? Feminism, right?
我们都是看论文，然后就是有一些是导演他们的访问，然后或是女明星的访问。
哦。
有一些是就是相关产业的人做的论文。
我觉得不见得一定要去看论文啊，像这个这本叫《质性研究》，然后你看它的是写，谈出女性研究实例。So there are a lot of research they already based on the feminism. 你可以就去找女性主义的书，你看中文的就 OK 了，就是让自己增加一些女性主义的概念。然后包括因为有一些女性主义，它会 focus 在比如性工作者或者是纺织工厂的人，就因为纺织工厂通常是女性，或者是像航空公司的 flight attendant， 然后像他们之前去罢工这样，反正就是像这一些，你不见得要先去看research paper， because they might be too academic. But I think you are somewhere between the academic, but you also you focus on the movie, more like entertainment part. So I don't think you need to be too academic in this way, but you do need to have the theory background or knowledge background regarding to feminism. So I would ask you to even read some information, go to find some books in the library or the bookstore, find some, some easier to read book regarding to feminism instead of reading a lot of academic paper. Academic paper might be too difficult for you because a lot of feminism field, they are from sociology or psychology, and that would be very difficult to understand as an undergraduate students. Okay, so go to find some regular regular readings just talking about feminism. You might not feel this is too difficult or stop you from the, your interests, right?
Yeah.
I don't want this project to kill your motivation to dig into something that you were curious about, but because of the difficulty of the academic research paper that you are about to read, then you lose your interest in it. And then I don't think that would be our intention to ask you to do the special project. Right? So you haven't answered me, like, what was the challenge that you have so far?
Reading books.
Okay, may I ask you, like, okay, you are going to talk about feminism movie. How do you find those movies? How do you know if this movie talk about feminism, or do they focus on feminism? Or you don't mind, you just pick up a movie and then you focus on the feminism part?
We chose Emily in Paris because it's the recently famous show on Netflix. Yes.
Uh-huh. 我说你怎么知道这个电影是女性主义的电影，或者是你其实是看很多不同的电影，然后去把它归类成有女性主义的成分在里面，还是像你刚刚说，我就是找一部片，然后它也不见得是女性主义，可是我去分析它有没有女性主义的成分在里面。
就是现在那个女性主义很 popular， 所以就是如果有一部电影或有一部 TV show 有 feminism 的话，它一定会有一个报道，所以不一定就是，所以现在就是我们只要就是看那些就是 news article 就知道哪个 show 是有 feminism aspect 在里面，但是就是不知道它是不是真的这样。
对，然后就是我们是要去 argue 那一件事，
就是我们就 argue 它是不是现在因为女权主义太那个了，所以太有名了，所以他们只是放进去当一个摆设。
So can you tell me what is this movie talk about? Emily in Paris. What was it about?
就是它实际上新闻报很多新闻报道都是说它是有女权主义在里面，而是你实际上去看了之后才会发现，其实它很多就只是稍微接触到而已，就是可能像它里面有讲到没有 gays， 然后或者是一些广告的东西是有讲到跟女性相关的。可是其实它不完全是在说女权主义，所以就是一个乱象，就是在现在很多娱乐产业会拍类似的影集或是电影，只是因为他们想要去迎合这个很热门的主题，然后所以他们才会选择去拍摄，就是为了赚钱，他们才会选择去拍这个东西。
Okay, I like your answer. Actually, okay, you need to have a lot of knowledge regarding to feminism in order to make judgment. So after you know about feminism, and then you go back and watch the movie, you're like, no, this is not really feminism, right? So you are right. You need to have some perspective to start with. When you talk about feminism, I was thinking about based on this, you can judge all kind of movies. Then you can decide. To me, if I don't think, maybe I'm feminism myself. I'm not sure. Maybe I'm somehow feminism. So when I watch a movie, I would see if this focus on some female perspective or not. Like if I see the 复仇者联盟, I would like, I think all of them are too, it's not focused on the female perspective. But even Sex and City, I think they still show the dominate role that male play in the relationship, right? Some part of it. But of course, you can see some part they try to tell you that female can dominate a relationship and female can achieve very successful career. But in some of the storytelling parts, the feminism part is not so obvious. But how can I make those comments? It's because I have some basic knowledge regarding to feminism. So that would be my advice to you. Don't worry about the movies any movie that you pick. When you have enough knowledge about feminism, you can make comments and you can do what you are trying to do here, analyze the content of feminism in Emily in Paris. Very good. All right, good job so far. Good job, well done. All right. Should we take a short break? Because I'm concerned if, no, Christina, if we keep recording, would that be fine? Would that be too big?
Because I divided into different files.
Fine, okay. So it should be fine, right?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So let's get ready for group 4.
上一组准备。
海迪，你有要下课时间吗？你有要休息吗？
不用啊，继续啊。我怕来不及啊，现在才第4组。直接。
好。没有要休息啊，我们要休息。
要休息吗？你们要休息吗？
就让他们要上厕所的去，我们继续讲啊。
OK， 好。还是我们就休息短暂5分钟。
好，那5分钟，5分钟好了，你也去喝个水。
好，谢谢。
海迪也去喝水一下。
好，谢谢。
哪里有暂停？这里的啊。OK。
是这样扣。因为它这里有结构的狼的。
有吧？上一次去买个便宜包包在哪？经过，你知道吗？对啊，整个就是有然后我买不了这种法拉，因为开车下来，然后他就说这个我也挑死，但是我还是要找一下。就是买东西超少了。听完之后开心吗？啊，听完了吗？很顺呢，我以为我不知道。然后他说给他反应，对，就是很认真。没有，我换太多了，好可怜，好可怜。上次才加上，用完之后他说哦，那我不得不说一件事啊，看起来给我打分。他本来测图把它删掉，然后后来那个有一天我就叫他卖了，然后我就突然爱对，然后我为什么来不及？因为我还下个节不行，
Okay, I'm back.
Hello，有按了，我按了，
Okay.
我按了，我按了。
Everyone, we can come back to a class. We are going to follow by Jamie's and Bernice's presentation. And I welcome to all the questions or comments you can provide to a presentation team, okay? All right. Anytime you are ready, feel free to get started.
We are going to talk about the research study on the operating characters of media from the perspective of audience. This is our special topic. Okay, then here are with our content. We divide into 3 parts, and it means we have 3 chapters.
哎，海底不见了，等一下。
他断线了。
我没有断讯，我只是把你变成 spotlight.
Oh, okay.
The first part we have 3 small chapters. It means we have the motivations and purpose of research and the research questions. And the second chapter we have the 3 part as well. So we divide into the Wikimedia and 2 theory. The 2 theory include the use and gratification theory and the limiting effect theory. And the last part is our research method. And about our motivations, because the high-tech generation, so we are trying to close to the Wikimedia or some media world. So, as we said in our daily life, we have a lot of demanding on the Wikimedia and the popularity of the social software. We use the software to try to connect with other people. So this is our motivation.
There are 3 purposes of research, and one is stress the connection and distinction between new media and Wikimedia. We want to know what is We want to know how people use Wikimedia to create their own industry, and second, do the marking sampling test to obtain the public view on Wikimedia creators, the general viewing habits, to analyze what type of video what type of videos can be presented to achieve the effect of attracting and become the business opportunity of media people. And finally, the reference of the industry, which shows the understanding the creative power of creators, so as to make the media stand out for generation and create view. We sort out of 3 research questions in our study. So the first question is in terms of the audience point of view, what caused people to pay attention on it? It means that what kind of films or videos can make people want to see or want to pay money, pay spirits on it? And the second question is from the operator's point of view. What are the motives for the media to become a productive force? It's like why the operators or why people want to use the Wikimedia to create money or create some opportunities of job. And the third one is the influence and contributions of Wikimedia to modern society or future societies. Because as the previous slides, we talked to
we mentioned that the media connects people to people to connect each other. So it will create a weak influence or the good influence for us.
The concept of Wikimedia organized from Dan Gill, a famous IT writer in Silicon Valley of the United States, who put forward the new media 3.0 in his blog on September 28 and in 2001. And in this idea, the media 1.0 is traditional media, or we call it old media. And new media 2.0 is the new media, and the new media 3.0 is the Wikimedia, with the blog as the chat in July 2003. Strand Borman and Chris Willis jointly put forward the definition of Wikimedia. And Wikimedia is the way for general public to understand how to provide and share their own facts. And news after being strong by technology and content with the global knowledge system. And the third one is Paul Leveson, Canada's communication scholar, put forward the 3 parts of media: old media, new media, and Wikimedia. And he believed that all media before the birth of internet are old media. In the 1990s, emails, online newspaper, and chat room are the first generation of media on the internet, and which is also the new media defined by Paul Leveson. And the most popular media in the era, such as Instagram, blog, and Facebook, also YouTube, belongs to the second generation of media on internet, which is now we call it new medias or Wikimedias. And this is the most typical media in the new media. And what is the Wikimedia? Wikimedia is the general term of new media, and which refer it is to private and settlement and general and independent communicators is also called it personal media. And in the era of Wikimedia, it is dominated by personal communication. It is basic feature is that everyone has the microphone and they has the right to speak. So user can really build their own social networking. And Wikimedia has become the best place for people to show their personality and self-expression. And in the past, people only have television, and audience didn't have the skill to make TV programs now, let alone movies. So without manpower, time, and equipment, it is difficult to most people close to making TV programs. But now with a computer, a set of editing software, or a mobile phone, text with the word and sound with the image can be created live on the platform. And we have several characteristics of the Wikimedia. The first is the popularization thing. The population means the thing you need is only internet and platform, so you can operate your own media. And second is low cost. Compared with the traditional media, the cost of media is generally lower. Of course, there are still many people spend a lot of money or time on the media. And the unicorns. For example, in recent years, a lot of YouTubers appear, and we can find that each channel has its own characteristic. And some people share their life, some people share their personal skills. Also, some people bring joy to everyone, and so on. The channels on the internet are all unicorn. And the third one is interactive.
with media and the audience are two-way communication. For example, with media and the audience come and go by using the message and live broadcast function of the communicate platform. And the the last one is great influence. Whether the photo or the video or article, people sharing and post. The number of people who click on the information can be very large. So I think above these characteristics are enough to understand why we media can become the new trend in this era. We have to compare the new media with media and traditional media. And traditional media with the new media have some difference. Compared with traditional media has changed the main body of communication. And media is the division of communicative, native, and culture. The old and the new in the division of communications. And in the era of traditional media, the main body of communication refers to the old news organization or individual who control the organization. And the audience refers to the individual who access the mass media. While the main body of media refers to the individual who has independent means of main body of communication on the network. And it can be anyone on the network. So traditional media follow the one-to-many communicate mode. And the communicate mode is linear. But the media use the one-to-many, many-to-many, and many-to-one. The change of communication mode makes the communication effect of media very different from the traditional media. And this is the new media compared with the media. media are produced by the development of new media, and media update the new media's channel. media and the new media are two kinds of nature, which doesn't mean the media is the kind of the new media. First of all, the media has the characteristic of the new media, also relying on the support of networking. And media has almost complete all the tasks with new media. Second, media has its own characteristic. So media has a great voice. Users can really build their own social network. And media has become the best place for the people to show their personality and their self-experience. And therefore, media also can call self-media. And the literal meaning of Chinese self can be understood as freedom, so which has greatly improved compared with the new media. About the first theory. The first theory is created by the Paul Lazarsfeld. It called the limited effect theory. A limited effect theory holds that people will select information from different media according to their existing values in their mind. And the information provided by the media can only strengthen their existing views. It means people watch films and because they have some opinions in this film. So the films won't change their mind anyway. And the user use the media divided into three parts. The first part is gatekeepers. Gatekeepers mean the screen media's message and paste on the message to help others share their views. And the second one is opinion leaders. Users means the opinion leaders means the users pass on info to opinion followers. And the third part is the opinion followers. Opinion followers is related to the leaders. So it means they receive info from the opinion leaders. And about second theory is the use and gratification theories. The use and gratification theory is one part of the limited effect theories. But the theory's focus is not what the medias do. It's the audience choose their medias and content according to their own needs. Means if they need something or they want to get some things on the medias, they will search it and to watch the film. And the use and gratification theories divide 4 satisfactions in common. The first is diversion. Diversion's ways means that it emphasizes the programs and films can provide the entertainments on the daily life, on your free times or leisure time, to release your effort in your daily. And the second one is personal relations. It means the people will create some feelings about the characters of the film. So you may feel the characters is your friends, is your families in the film. So people want to watch the videos, watch the films to make friends, to create a relationship with their families or something like the strangers in their friends circle. And the third part is personal identity. People watch the medias to identity their self. It means they want to explore the realities and to strengthen their values in their mind and to get the reference from the media. And the last one is surveillance. Surveillance means the people through the media to get a new message to satisfy their life and to get the information from the societies to satisfy their requirement. And about our research method, we are going to use the qualitative method, and we use the in-depth interview. In-depth interviews because we want to know the audience motivations of they click the films and what kind of the films types they want to get, they want to know. And the interview will according to our interview content to answer our open questions. And just like we are chatting to the interviewer, kind of that. Okay, here is our special topic so far.
Okay, right, very good. I remove the spotlights. All right, cool. Okay, thanks for the presentation. You make it very clear what you are about to do, especially you focus on this kind of very hot issue, like analyzing the reason why maybe YouTube become, YouTuber. What's the reason for that? You haven't started to conduct the either interview or questionnaire yet, but I believe that you will find a lot of information to analyze and find out, what are the factors making those media being so popular. So you also did a very detailed review for the literature, and you explained well what you are about to do. Okay, so good job. My question for you is, so you only have like 4 months left. What's your next step that you plan to do?
We plan to
Interview.
Yeah, to go to know more about some theories and to get more in our mind so that we can share our opinions to other people's and to lead the audience to answer our questions very clear and detailed.
Okay, I think your project is very academic in a way that you go through like introduction, the literature review, and you explain your research method. So continue with this direction. And so this is more like an academic base, different from Amy's and David's team. So yours will be more similar to Trisha's team, like it's academic based and it's a research project. So focus on the research methods. You need to pay attention to your sampling methods. Who are you going to collect data from? Try not to have bias. I will not suggest you to only collect data from like the college students or, within certain city or certain age or even one university per se. Okay, so I would suggest you to maybe collect data from even, I think those kind of media might be popular only with the younger generation, but when we define younger, you can be 40 years and younger. So you still have different categories, maybe teenage, they still watch, certain type of video or YouTube or some Twitter, those kind of information, which might be different from the college students. And then when you go to like, college, go to the graduate school, probably something you watch is different from if you go to work, but you are all considered as a younger generation. And then you can compare maybe with the Taiwanese people, the young generation. Is there any differences between like people from Indonesia, from Vietnam, from US, from Europe? Are they the same? Do they watch the same kind of media? And are there any differences? So they have different focus that you can go, but you still need to narrow down and pick up your focus. Are you going to compare the differences, or are you going to compare the different media, or are you going to figure out what is the most popular one? So either way, you can all have a very meaningful finding and have a good application or implication for from this research project. Okay.
Okay.
Good.
Okay.
So let's continue with the discussion after the class. I would ask you the second question to be fair. What is the biggest challenge so far you face doing your special project, and how do you solve the problem so far?
I think it's maybe
Start from the
we start from the zero.
yeah.
Like we didn't know everything about some media theory. We just know how to use it. So I start this research. So the
刚刚我们讲了很多，我们刚刚有很多。
just kind of we need to read more about the media because there are a lot of academic knowledge inside. We lack of the knowledge in our minds. It means we have the low vocabulary in this academic work. So maybe in the future we are going to read more and study more, watch more so that can help us to talk about this topic and share some detail with others.
Okay. All right. Very good. All right. Thanks for the presentation. Good job. Well done. All right.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Bye.
Next group, group 5. All right. Yeah, you can get started anytime you are ready. So Alicia and Joy.
This is our topic for today's presentation. It's about color, application of color on photography and interior design. And this is our content, and we will be talking about introduction, research teams, methods, and literature review, and types of color. And our research is to study the relationship between application of colors on photography and interior design, and also how this linked to our emotions. And the reason why we choose this topic is because our curiosity to colors and how it can affect our emotions. And in this research, we are going to conduct color matching and color contrasting. And by the end of our research, we will know whether color really affects our emotions and what kind of color brings what kind of emotions to us. And as I said in the previous slide, our focus point will be only on interior design and photography industries. The reason for that is because both of us are interested in different industries, and if we could combine these two topics together, it will be very interesting. And also, nowadays people value so much in beauty, and we think that color plays a huge role on it. And ever since the very first black and white picture was taken until later on the existence of colorful picture, this has motivated people all around the world to contribute more in beautifying photographs. And for interior design, people these days seems to pursue better quality of life. So in order to live in the better space, color matching theories are applied everywhere, including furniture, curtains, tableware, and even to decorations in rooms, according to their preference, as different people enjoy living in different spaces. In this research, we are going to use qualitative methods in theoretical study, involving observation or the compilation of information related to color principles. And dividing into 3 sections, our literature review is not only about psychological perception of color, and also psychological perception in colors in photography and interior design. So our research is conducted using psychological perspective to study the relationship of colors to human. And in addition, a series of projects will be presented to you guys to show our study, and also to support the fact that color have psychological impacts on human. We will introduce global photography works and also investigate restaurants to find out whether color brings influence in terms of visitor and income.
For the research method, and we are going to do the photography project. And as we can see, the primary color RGB and CMY is used in photography mode. And each, we are going to place the in front of the lamp which shines on the object we want to capture, and to find out whether primary color can be mixed into a wide range of different colors. And also cold and warm color would be used in order to capture different things to present our research. And this is the example like we are going to do. And maybe we are going to change the people to the object.
And in interior design project, we will be only using cold and warm colors to make our miniature in order to show the difference between color, temperature, and the emotion that the room shows. And to avoid inaccuracy, the size of furniture and rooms, quantity and quality of furniture, the materials used, and the saturation of both color remains constant. And the 2 color chosen as wallpaper will be blue from cold color and red from warm color. And the furniture will also be divided into warm and cold tone to show the best final result. And as to lighting, the controllable lighting will be used in both rooms. And to
to show how value affects a room. And these are the example of miniature we are going to make. And now I'm going to talk about what is color. And actually it is a human perception of light. And in our daily life, although we can see colors every day, but it actually only appears under some specific condition, which is when light is present. And each and every time when light shines on an object, rays will be either absorbed or reflected by object, while the reflected rays are the one which determines the color to be seen by a human. And because of the light and color are in sync, where there is little light, there is little color. When there is more light, there will be more color. And in order to see color, humans' eye have rod and cones, which is what we call as sensitive cell. Cone is a sensitive cell that needs more light than rods do, while rods only starts working when it gets dark. So in briefly speaking, they have to work together in order to let humans see colors.
Perception of color. As we mentioned about the primary colors, the primary colors are often used in photography. And to apply these colors in real life, additive primary colors are usually used on screen like this one. And the subtractive primary color are usually used in printing and paint. And however, it is possible to create a wider range of different colors with the use of only 3 primary colors. And colors can simply be used to emphasize a focus point or even go through color combination to achieve a balanced image. And in order to do that, the 3 elements include saturation, brightness, and hue are indispensable to in photography. And saturation in color energy stand a very important role. And with a higher saturation, there will be higher color energy, and lower saturation will be lower color energy. And cold and warm colors and high energy color can be used on the area we want to highlight. And while the background will be matched with lower energy colors in order to achieve a gray color balance, and which would lead to good color continuity in a work. And we can see some examples such as comedy poster design is high. They use high energy colors, and poster of scare movie often use a low energy colors.
Next, in interior design, it is said that when color in interior space are used in balanced proportion, it is good to human health and well-being. When colors are chosen randomly, an uneasy, lifeless, or even chaotic effect will happen. So it is actually very important to understand basic color principles, especially in hue, value, and saturation. When planning an interior design, designer can utilize hue, which is what we call as color, to emphasize an area of space. And to do that, you have to put area into color that does not seem to match each other. For example, like orange with blue and purple with gray, because the greater the color difference, the greater the contrast shown, and the space will be more stand out. Next is the value, which is the lightness and darkness of hue, which is what we call as color. It is very important in 3D design because it helps in defining forms and creating space illusions. And without clear values, the space will be seems to flatten out.
and the shapes of the things look like they are closely connected in space, the things will not stand out between each other. And so when the value have big difference between each other, the shape will appear clearly and separately in space. Next, saturation, which brings the meaning of intensity and purity of a color. A color with 100% saturation means that there is no gray color added into this color. And with 0 saturation means that the color will appear as medium gray. The bigger the saturation a color is, the brighter the color appears. And with the more desaturated a color is, the duller it appears. Every person has different favorite color. In 1950, Lewis proposed that the 3 main factors that affect a human preference in color is libido, which stands 20%. Next is ego involvement, which stands 40%, and prestige, which stands also 40% in total. In real life, women prefer warm tone with higher brightness, while men usually prefer cold tone with lower brightness. And next, we will be showing you the meaning of color to different authors, from different authors.
In this section, we sort out the association of different authors in these 3 fields of color. Color, photography, color, and the interior design color. And as we can see in the diagram, red is association with similar feelings like passion, dangerous, and strength in these 3 fields. So we saw out some similar feeling of this color. Like yellow is more like positive words for the feeling. So we can see the green. They are similar with both safety, nature, and safe. And the blue is calm and long-term in quality, like. And so this is for gray. Like, and gray is like more negative ways, like evil and mystery, death, something like that. And this is for white. Thank you.
Okay, can you go back to the previous slides? Okay, all right, cool. Okay, thanks for the presentation. I like your presentation. You also did a very detailed literature review, and I'm glad to see that you mentioned the literature part for the psychological perception of color, which is a very important key point of your study. So you've emphasized that you can analyze like what kind of color would link to people's perception and what kind of psychology impact on different color. And that's the foundation of your study, which is a very important direction. So don't miss that part. So when you are doing your writing, probably you can list different color and what's the attributes and what's the inference of those color have the impact to the people's perception. Okay, so you can be more detailed listing all the color, but it will be difficult to list all the color. But I think we have few categories, like we have a so-called like yellowish, red or greenish, and those are the very basic color. And then we do have a lot of study already show the impact of the color to people's perception. So there will be a very important literature review that you should focus on, right? So I'm also happy that you did a very clear presentation regarding to what you are about to do. You also introduced throughout, very detailed information regarding to your literature. Okay, so my question for you is, what is the next step that you are going to do, and try to emphasize the research method that you are going to apply for your special project?
Next step, we are going to find the data and example, which like to show our study. And also we will also introduce global photography works. Yeah, also we have to work more in the literature review because we think that it wasn't complete yet. Also, we have to think about the thesis. Yeah, because we still confusing what the meaning of thesis is, and our advisor want us to give a thesis to him.
So who is your advisor?
James. Professor.
James?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's going to be a research base. But then how are you going to present the photos? Are the photos going to be your data? Are you going to show the photo and ask people's perception?
We're just going to show the photos and the feelings that the photo gives us to us, like the feelings that the photo shows.
I'm just thinking about how you are going to put in writing, because in the thesis format, especially in the management field, we don't put pictures. So if you are going to show people the picture and ask them how they perceive or how they feel from the pictures that you took, and then you're going to present it in the paper writing, I think that would be the challenging part. So maybe James is more specialized in this field. Maybe in their field, they can have this kind of special research method. But in my knowledge, I'm not sure how to use a picture in the writing and ask people to have the feedback or consider that as part of your data collection. But I think there will be a good way that you show it to people and ask. I think they can be part of, I think it can be like interview or quantitative, because you are going to show it to them. It's a lot of psychology tests. It's like that. Look at the picture and see how you feel. So that could work. You just need to figure out how to put it into writing, just like you said. Okay, so next step, you also need to focus on how you pick out those pictures, why you pick out those pictures. If you pay attention, like I keep changing my background. Okay, so earlier I put a firework, and then the previous one I put the totally white with the ISU logo. And then I also pick up, I think there was a firework, the dark background, and then I put this harbor image. So maybe after you review it, you can see like with the same kind of presentation, everyone is talking, but I changed my background. Do you feel that you changed the image of the being professional, or do you feel like, you create different environments? To me, with this background, it's kind of like very neutral color. It wasn't too professional in a way. But when I put like the black or very simple one, just have the white background, the image is totally different. Okay, so you can do something like this, and then you probably can use this one as a initial stage to analyze with the same classroom setting, but with different background. Would that affect maybe the learning attitude or the satisfaction toward the online class? I'm not sure, but that's a good way that you can do like experiments, right? Okay, so the second question I ask you is, so far, what is the challenge you have for this special project?
Same like the previous team, we haven't really have the chance to write a special topic. Yeah, so yeah, I think that's the biggest challenge because we haven't. Yeah, especially in literature review. Yeah.
Okay, I think it applies to all the team. Like even during the oral presentation with the PowerPoint, it's so different from a writing part. it's easier just to put down the 40 points and talk about that. But when you are going to put the detailed information with the writing, it's really challenging. And if I think your paper will be also more like a academic, base. In that way, yeah, you do need to, read some good literature and put that into writing. Okay, but so far, I think you did a good job with all the direction that you are going to head to, and you think through the research method that you are going to use, and then you also know the difficulties of writing. So when you put all the missing part from the puzzle, I think you would have a whole picture of this spatial project. Good job, well done. All right, good. Any question for this team? If not, let's welcome group 6. All right. Okay. So anytime you are ready, feel free to get started.
You see the screen?
Yep.
Okay, so this is our final project about the special topic, and we're going to talk about the film industry that in Korea and the tourism industry in Taiwan, the influence between the relationship between the influence. And this is our content. At the introduction part, we're going to talk about the phenomenon we perceive, and then it's the proposed, and it's going to talk about the research methodology and the limitation of our research. And then the literature review is going to talk about some part of the reference we already read, and then the value of our research.
So the introduction, we are talking about the phenomenon we perceive. And we make the influence of Korea culture's timeline. So since 1998, Taiwan began to report Korea TV program and daily necessity like Samsung or LG or some Korean product. And from 2001 to 2012, Korea from a small number of Asia countries to most countries in the world, such as Taiwan, Japan, and China. And the scope of the impact becomes greater and greater. And they have some popular drama like City Hunter or Music Gangnam Style. And after 2013, it has become the indicator of the leading edge culture. And anything that is influenced by Korean culture is waiting for the Korean way. So the curtain phone, the light box that have been popular in South Korea for idol or some advertisement on the breast or now is appearing in densely populated community district, and you can see in Taiwan and in big cities like Taipei, Kaohsiung, or Taichung. And there are also a lot of work related to South Korea in the marketing of goods. And you can even see very common in Taiwan in supermarket or night market. And the clothing style and makeup is also quite great. And the number of the visitors to Korea is increases year by year. And this is the point that our topic are talking about. So because there's a lot of people doing the research about the tourism and others doing the Korean drama, so what we do is want to research the both. And the limitation, we are choosing a group who have been to Korea and watch the Korean drama. And the methodology, we're using the quantitative data to analyze and to support the secondary data and analyze the influence between Korean drama and tourism.
So the literature review will be like the article we're going to talk about here is the policy and the promotion of the culture in Korean government have been done. For the promotion and the policy development in Korea, they have about 5 parts of the policy they have done in over 5 leaders in their country. And the first one is the most early they present to have creative culture country. They start to plan a lot of policy to improve their traditional culture and fashion culture in their countries. And then the textbook culture country is like what the people see in Korean and what they feels like when people watching at the television shows they got. And then the culture practical system and the self-discipline is like they through the education like school or the club they have to improve the culture they have, like people will have the dance club there and improve the like singing skill. They spend a lot of money at that time. It's about 1 trillion Korean dollars, and they really at that time it really improved the economies. The economy has been improved, and then at that time is the time at Taiwan was 2003 to 2012, and then the last one is closer to now is cultural perspective. And then the second part is what kind of the reference we're talking about is the talent marketing in the tourism industry. And there's going to have 4 parts of these things is like constructive and effective is the most important things now in the tourism industry. And at the active part is like the traditional facility about the tourism at the in Korean, and then is the society environment, and then the functional and the psychological is like we're talking about the K-drama affect the people that want to be like the actor in the drama. So this is part of the psychological part that will affect people want to go to Korean. And then the functional is like they think when you're going to Korea, you will have a nice tour there. And then a part of the website reference we can find is at the Ministry of Culture Support. This part is the top of 3 is Korean's official website, and each part will have the different data you can find. At the first one, you can find the history of the policy they have done and what they are going to do after 10 years or 5 years later. And then Korea Creative Content Agency is like they promote the Korean culture overseas by this department, and then find the talents from overseas to come to Korean and improve their industry. And then the third one, the Korean Tourism Organization is talking about the number of the tourism went to Korea, and they analyze each year, just like
Ministry of the Intro in Taiwan done the same thing, but the number have been different because of some of Taiwanese went there are not for the tourism, so they didn't count them inside of the tourism organization. And then the next part is our value of the research. There are so many references are talking about Korean cultures and tourism industry, but both of them didn't connect each other at the same reference, in the same reference. So we're interested. So we're interested about if the relationship between these two kinds of topic. And then we have when we have the new direction or idea to improve Taiwan's tourism industry, we can use like this way to promote foreigners to come and travel in Taiwan. We can use in this way and found if this really help us done of the tourism industry. So this is our special topic.
Okay. Good. All right. I like the part that you do the presentation. You also mentioned about the contribution of your study. A lot of presentation earlier, they didn't mention this part, but this is what the research we should mention in the introduction. So the review of the research, you can move it to introduction part. So the format is that you talk about why you are going to do the research and what is your research question, and you mention about the potential or the contribution of this study. Try to tell people that, hey, I know there's a lot of study talking about the tourism, creative industry in Korea and Taiwan, but our study is different from others. Okay? And I also see that you do a detailed literature review talking about different perspective, talking about Korean culture and also the influence on the Korean culture. And then you talk about this, I think you talk about in the creative industry a little bit and tourism, okay? And because of that, I think you also cover too many different industries. So maybe you can narrow down a little bit. Otherwise, I think when you are doing your data collection, you would hit to too many areas. Like creative industry is different from tourism. So you focus on the small scope that you want to focus on, and that would help you to find the focus for your data analysis. I know when we do the research, you want to find a big picture, want to figure out all the possible reasons to answer your research question, but then you only have 4 more months left. So try to narrow down a little bit, and so you would, I wouldn't say it's easier, but you can find it's relatively easier with a limited time. You can find your research findings. Okay, but in general, I like your presentation. I also like the way you develop your PowerPoint. And also you mentioned about your contribution. I would like to ask you like the same question, like regarding to your research methods. What are you going to do the next? How are you going to collect your data, or in general, what's your next step?
First, still designing about our questionnaire surveys and reading the reference, because we have to find the reference that support our questionnaire survey.
Okay, and because of that, I would suggest you to, who is your advisor, Dr. Zhang Hao?
CJ.
Huh?
CJ.
CJ, okay. Okay, so I think, okay, this part I can give you some advice. Because you are going to use a questionnaire, I would suggest you not to develop your own question. Not to develop your own question. Because if you develop your own question, you are going to explain to people how you come up with those questions. And then you are going to test the reliability and the validity of the questionnaire. people tend to ask you, how do you come up with this question? So the easier or the safe way is to, if you can find the previous study already ask very similar questions, like Trisha mentioned that before for the first presentation. You find some previous study, say they talk about the Korean culture and they ask about the perception, for example. You can quote that 10 question from the particular research, and maybe another study you find that they talk about the influence of certain culture, and then you quote another 10 question from that. You use exactly the same question and combine to your questionnaire, and then you don't have to worry about the validity of the questions. OK， 信效度，问卷的信效度很重要。所以如果我们自己用自己的问卷，通常人家就问我说啊，你是专家，或者是你有检测过这个问题，真的是问到你要问的变数吗？如果没有，那其实比较保险，而且比较能告诉大家你的问卷是有信度跟效度，就是用别人已经发展出来的问卷。But you will have the same issue like Trisha has, like a lot of questionnaire, they wouldn't release it to the public. I think the easier way to find, you can use the thesis. Go to the database I showed you before. If you can find a complete thesis, usually at the last part of the thesis, which we call it appendix, they will have a complete questionnaire that you can use. Okay, but if you only want to focus on like trying how to develop a questionnaire, that's fine. But you would have some issue regarding to the reliability and the validity of it. So if you are going to develop your own questionnaire, maybe you can start with a short interview to kind of like double check what are the right question for your questionnaire. Okay, so you have different approach. If you are going to develop your own questions, you can try that way, and then you can start to collect data and start to analyze. But I'm just trying to tell you that if you create your own questionnaire, then your validity and reliability will be questionable. Okay, but in general, I think this is a good direction, but it might be a little bit too big. Try to narrow down a little bit, like one industry. If you want to do the comparison, it's good, but then again, this is a very big scope, So if you could narrow down and focus on small thing and try to see what kind of findings you can have from the study. And I think your study is more like an academic based as well. So the research method is very important. Like how, after you have your questionnaire, who are you going to send the questionnaire to? Who are the people answering your questions? I would suggest that don't limit yourself to the college students because your topic is very general. You didn't say, okay, I want to focus on college students or certain generations. So it would be great if you can send to everyone. We cannot send to everyone, but maybe like Chris' parents or your parents and parents' friend, or your friends in general. So you will have different age with different background. So they will have different perception toward Korea and also Taiwan. Then you can have a more general analyze, and you can use that data to predict for the population, which might be closer to the reality. Okay, right. So very good. And the second question I have for you, the same thing like the previous group. What is the biggest challenge so far that you have doing the special project?
Literature.
Okay. What? Literature review and what?
The person's new survey design.
I see. Okay. Yeah, I think that's also the most challenging part when we are doing the research. Literature review is really killing. You need to we do the same thing like every day. Like we read a whole article, but maybe after you read so many articles, one article you might only use one sentence, or sometimes after you read all of them, you feel like, okay, they are talking different things like what you plan to do the research. So you cannot use that literature. So we really spend a lot of time just to read different research, and based on the previous research, then we build our logic and we write it down and then propose our statement. So that's really a most challenging part, not just for you. I think for the rest of the class it's the same. And then if you are going to develop your own questionnaire, yeah, you are right. To develop the questions to your questionnaire, ask the right question. That's another challenging part. That's why I try to propose the idea. If you can find the previous study, find those question items, use it. You just need to you just need to have the right citation. After you put down your literature or research method, you use exactly the same questions they propose, you will be safe. And your reliability will be high, you save more time, and then you can put all the items together and create your own questionnaire. Okay, so you have 4 variables. So you can pick up those 4 variables from different study, from different questionnaire, from different studies. So you don't have to limit yourself. Find the exactly one paper having the 4 variables with all the questions that you are about to ask. Okay, you can get it from different study. Okay, but make sure that one variable should only come from one questionnaire from one study. You don't combine 2 studies and combine them together to your own study. You know what I mean? 一个变数的问卷题项只有来自一个研究，比如你要讲韩国文化，然后从张恒燕的研究，你就用他的。然后你如果找到 CJ 他在研究韩国的饮食那你就用他的，然后2个加起来就变成你的问卷。不要光是什么韩国文化就又找 CJ 又找张恒燕，然后把它加在一起变成你的，这样测不出来。有回答到你的那个concern嘛？对，就小心发展这个问卷。If you have any questions like regarding to your questionnaire, even I'm not your advisor, I can give you some advice. Feel free to we can talk about that. Okay, good presentation, good job. All right, next team. How many team we left?
我在想，我们要到下星期吗？因为我们现在还有4组还没报告。
好啊，你们 OK 吗？你们 OK， 我也 OK 哦。
剩下的组别就到下星期，因为等一下有些人有课。
好，你问一下，如果大家都 OK 的话，我们就下星期把它结束 ，OK 啊？然后我们下一期也要课。
剩下的组别 OK 吗？如果到下星期的话，应该就报告组别来。
哦，好，报告的组别来，其他要 online 上课 ，online 看好吗？
如果他们 OK 的话，就
问一下剩下组别是谁啊？他4组还没报告。
还有我们，还有他们。
你如果要报完，我也可以啊，反正我下午没课了。可是我看别人呢，看你们其他人。
要不然就剩下要报告的时候，讨论一下。
如何？
你们要演还是这礼拜完？如果你们 OK 的话，就那你们那马上开始。
Christina， 你刚刚有录吗？哦，好。
有。
So we decided to continue, right?
对。
Okay. Okay, Fred, whenever you are ready, Fred and JJ, feel free to get started.
Hi, Dr. Heidi. And now
Hi.
I will talk about our topic. This is entertainment industries. We researched nightclub, and I'm Fred, and he's my team member JJ. And this is our content. Next.
And I will talk about our introduction. Why we choose this one? Because nightclubs are one of the most popular entertainment industries now. So we want to explore nightclubs. First, we will understand the origin of nightclubs. Then we will investigate consumers' consultation purpose and habits, and came up with an idea and how to successfully operate and attract people's nightclub. The main criteria is young people.
And now I will talk about the Taiwan's nightclub history. And I will briefly talk about the evolution of the nightclub. Taiwan nightclub origin is since the Japanese rule period in the changeable political and economic environment. The Taiwan has not only built a variety of drinking culture, but also formed a new culture. It is a multi-dimensional drinking place that can reflect the spirit of the times in that era. Then the first appearance during that time, the early 1980s. During that time, the pub was appeared because of the U.S. military advisory group in Taiwan. They introduced this kind of concept of place to drink and to let people to entertain. During that time, the pub is only they went there to play billiards and listen to music. But during that time, only got the song machines and don't have DJs. And sometimes they got the orchestral performance also. And then almost on the same time, on the early 1980s, the disco was appeared. During that time, the disco was attached to the dance hall under the hotel. The first disco opened at Taiwan is at the Taipei Hilton Hotel. The disco is also like similar like the nightclub nowadays. They got the dance floor, lights, and DJ stage for DJs to play songs. But they charged a very high price during that time, almost 10,000 NT per night. So only the people who are rich and the stars of VIP can went there during the time. The operating cost was about 4 million, but the revenue from 1981 to 1987 was as high as 2 billion. That's why this kind of concept started to flourish in Taiwan. And nowadays, the nightclub is already open at many main cities of Taiwan, like Kaohsiung, Taichung, and Taipei also in Taiwan. But these three main cities, they got at least two nightclubs in there.
And now I will talk about our methodology. And we use the questionnaire survey and the interview, and we understand the boy and girl go to club's purpose and what the different age their consumer habits, and we get a conclusion. And this is our research method. Our target group is university students, and our sample size is 100 people, and we use Google Form, and we have a QR code to let people to write it. This is our 11 questions. First one, we have the gender, ages, and single or not, and education levels, and visited rate, survey certification and experience meet their expectation, and we will then recommend the place to their friends, then the safety in the nightclub, and their spending habits and their motivations to visit this place. And we come up to a simple conclusion, and we get a conclusion is most people usually go to the nightclub for fun and relax. They usually go with friends and think it is a safety place. And next, here, have a look. here is our next. Okay. Next semester, we will have the more detailed data and surveys and interview video. We will interview the consumer and interview the staff of the club, and we will make a music video, poster, and report to promote our ideas. In order to develop the nighttime economy, first of all, we have to know the problems it will take to us. For example, we take the example in the Netherlands, because they already legalized the drugs and all the things, so we evaluate their problems. This is the problem we come up with the contradiction among tourists, residents, and merchants, and the government are intensifying. And then the drunken people who do not return home at night, shout and urinate in the street, causing disputes, which seriously affect the state of nearby residents. These are all the problems if we need to overcome if we want to develop the nighttime economy. And then the whole city is in a mess due to the people of the party. So how do we overcome these problems? For the example, the other countries, they come out with the concept of night mayor. The night mayor is the very special position come out by the government of the other countries. The concept of the night mayor emerged in Amsterdam, the capital of the Netherlands, in 2012. They first come out with this concept, and then this concept achieved a very successful result to overcome of this problem and get a very good economic increase in the nighttime economy. The job of the night mayor is to mediate the inevitable friction between night activities and ordinary citizens. For example, in Amsterdam's ballroom has an annual output value of 600 million euros and create about 13,000 jobs in there. So we think this is a very good opportunity for Taiwan to can learn to and can come up with this kind of concept to improve our economy. Then the marketing strategy of nightclubs. We will do this at next semester. We will find out the segment, the targeting, and the positioning of the nightclub, and then come up some marketing strategies in future next semester. That's all. In this our reference. Thanks for listening.
Okay. Okay, thanks for the presentation. Can you go back to our references? Okay, I actually changed my background because you are talking about the nightclub. So I give you a bar here. This is a bar I took picture from Macau, a whiskey bar. So anyway, I'm kind of impressed with your presentation actually. You talk about like what you want to do. I would suggest you to have a more detailed or clear research topic as your title, because you only mentioned like entertainment industry research, colon nightclub. So maybe you can mention like how do you say it? Maybe like factors affecting nightclub or what attract people to go to nightclub, things like that, instead of a very general statement saying that nightclub entertainment industry research. Okay, so be more specific. Like other team, I think most of the team they did a very detailed title. So when people look at your topic, they know what you try to do. Okay. Other than that, I think you did a good job with your presentation. I was impressed with you even have some information regarding to your data already. So based on data, are you saying that you are going to do a video interview?
Yeah, maybe.
Okay. So based on the questionnaire that you have, you are going to ask people why they have this kind of behavior in the nightclub, right?
Yeah.
So it's a very interesting way. Usually we do the other way around. We do the interview, try to get the questions. But now you have very basic information, then you go to ask why they are like that. I like this new kind of methods, and let's see what kind of findings you might have. If you are going to do this way, I think, are you planning to do again with the questionnaire, or 100 people you think is enough?
I think it's enough. It's not
Okay.
enough. Maybe we can add the number. 100 people is for 问卷.
I know.
And
Questionnaire.
other people we will go to interview maybe 30, maybe 20 men and 20 girls, women.
Oh, okay. I would say it's a little bit too much if you are going to do the interview. If you can, when you are doing an interview, it doesn't matter with the number. When you run a statistic, it matters with the sample size. That's why I asked, 100 samples is good for statistic analysis, but the bigger sample size it is, the better quality of the data you might have for analyze, okay? So after you have that, then you move on to the qualitative one, which is the interview. From interview, you don't have to go through so many people. 20 female, 20 male is too much. I would say maybe 5 and 5, but they probably from different university, different gender, different age, already have different gender, maybe different cities, right? And maybe you don't have to focus on Taiwanese, you can have different nationality. So with these 10 people all together, 5 girls, 5 boys, but they have different demographic background, you can get a lot of information from the answer, okay? So I would rather use to spend one person, you spend maybe like 1 hour to do the interview instead of you interview 10 people and then everyone you only spend 10 minutes from them. In-depth interview, you want to dig more information as we emphasize in the class, okay? So I like your presentation. I think you did a very good job. I'm very impressed. And then you also have these references. For the references though, you need to follow, if it's in the writing part, the PowerPoint presentation is okay. But for the academic paper, you need to follow, we call it APA style. Like if it's from the journal, it's okay to have the link, but it's better that you can cite from the, like a journal article, what's the, maybe the journal's title, or what's the article's title, okay? Other than just all the website. But other than that, I think you did a good job with your presentation in your special project. Okay, good job, well done.
Thank you.
And then I haven't asked you a question. I think you already told me what you are going to do next. So what is the biggest challenge that you have so far?
Because this semester, like previously, I feel too many class, so I need to retake many class. So I have a lack of time to focus in this new project.
So what's your plan for next semester?
Next semester, I won't take that so much class, so I will fully focus on this project. So I think it will be okay next semester.
Okay, good. I like the answer, actually. Time management is very important. I think I see your improvement after you are the senior students. You focus on your study and then you can do the statistics. I think both of you are okay with the statistic part. Your research will have a good potential there, right? Good job, well done.
Okay, thank you, teacher.
You're welcome. Next group. Teresa and Angel.
So our topic is diagram text. And we are focused on the evolution of online diagram text creation in Taiwan. So chapter 1. For the background, nowadays people are addicted to their cell phone, especially after checking on their social media. So self-media has become a huge global trend, and everyone can be a content creator as long as your content is interesting enough.
The quality or the filming skills are not that important. Besides, people are affected by fast food culture of internet. They just want to watch some posts, which is short and sweet to read. But also, they are not that focused on the meaningful message or something else to read. They just want to release their stress, and that's why there are so many content creators to do diagram text to since people are not expecting, they are having the maybe professional drawing skills or some very artistic drawing. They just want to read their message. Is it funny or not? So as I just mentioned, the diagram text is very popular now, especially in Singapore country, which means Chinese-speaking countries, and also in Japan and South Korea. However, this culture is not, diagram text is not an official name in English, and also or even in Wikipedia. Therefore, we would like to challenge ourselves to create a Wikipedia page of this culture. So for our questions, in order to let people understand what is diagram text creation, we have to write the definition and study its background information, like the evolution of diagram text creation from books to online, and what's its impacts to the culture or the consumer behavior, the business model of diagram text, and also maybe how can diagram text creator to publish their artwork from online to publish a book to grow their reputation. And this is our definition. So after we read all the articles and books of animation, comics, and illustration, these three categories of arts which are in the same field, we create the definition of diagram text, that it is simply an artwork that is diagram plus text, and this two is both necessary. If there is missing any one of them, then it is just an illustration or just a sentence. It combines with these three major categories, and a static diagram text creation, which means a picture but not a short animation clip, is similar to comics or illustration, but they are slightly different. Many creators would even present their artwork in the form of two-dimensional animations and dump them before becoming short films. So briefly speaking, diagram text creation is considered as the simplified version of illustration and comics, also a lively and interesting animation. They are definitely sharp and sweet to watch. In this age, this artwork is very popular in the artwork on the internet, especially in the social network. So we have done, after we read the articles and books, we create this comparison to let people know more about the differences between diagram text with other art categories. Since it is it is a bit hard to read, so we have designed another version.
At least on the pie chart, they are having the same result with above comparison. It's just another way to show the same result. As you will see, it's visual or even auditory. The traditional media are need more professional drawing skills. In overall, we can see that diagram text creators are having high creation freedom and not need to be so professional in any skills. And we have picked some popular creators in different countries or places, which are the 3 Taiwanese, 2 Hong Kong, 2 Japanese, and 2 South Korea, and some Western creators. And in Taiwan, the first creator we want to introduce is Miss H. And Mei is his main character to show the inequality in society. And Miss H has launched Mei by sticker in 8 different styles, also published in our own diagram textbook in twice. And this is Onion Man. And there is simple painting style. The subject matter mostly comes from the real life situation of the author himself and presents fondly, for example, his school life and friends issue, which around the reasons for of readers. And next is called Dear Man, and there are 4 main characters in his outfit. They are Xiao Ma, Ni Qiu, Wang Jingfa, and Dear Man himself. And Dear Man has created over 200 short animation and published on his social media, include YouTube and Facebook, along with his high popularity, and he launched many kinds of products. For example, light sticker and clothing and GoGo car cover. And next is Hong Kong diagram text creator. Venus, a name that merged by their names, Theo and Venus, a pair of Hong Kong young couple. Their love stories is the main topic of their diagram text. And next one is Ding Dong, is created by 2 authors, and Zhang Chen and Peng Hao. Their animation collection is are picked as famous animation section in the 34th Hong Kong International Film Festival, and Ding Dong Fest debuted on the Comic Avenue of Star in Jinshan. And then there are some diagram text created from Japan and South Korea. And this one, the adorable hamster with one color born in 2018. In just 2 years, there are already have 300 million fans on Twitter and Instagram, along with high popularity, and 3 sets of line stickers were released in 2019, and the second set of stickers and the 2020 calendar sold on Amazon in Japan were both ranked first in the correct review. And next one is start from 2012. It's the Japanese illustrator Hiko
began to put all the weird idea in his mind on Instagram. And his Instagram has accumulated 280,000 followers in 2018. Along with his population, there is an exhibition in Shanghai Creative Park until the 5th of April this year. And next one is a Korean illustrator, and is Koo Yang Lee, an illustrator from South Korea who loves to draw and did illustration of intimate interaction between couples. His artwork record their daily life, relying on each other and supporting each other. And next is also from South Korea, Kobe Dante, a popular Korean diagram text creator, also drawing their love story with his wife. And then we move to Western area. This is key, and it is the character and is the most important visual role in creation. And the picture are most make people smile and feel warm. It is also a clothing brand. People can order their products in their online shop. And above are some famous diagram text creator we found. And about our nothing.
So for our literature review, we have made a relationship chart of visual arts and in visual arts we are focused on the illustration, animation, and comics. Since these three kinds of art is the combination of when they combine is diagram text. So these are some research we found, and we have combined to be to create a Venn diagram between this category of arts. So you can, as you can see, for animation, it has the soundtrack and sound effect and displays a series of static images as the continuous fixed frequency and combined with modern technology closely into computer animation and comics. They have the dialogues and a sequence of drawing in box that tell a story, and the illustration have no words and visualize the words and stories and or thoughts. Also to portray the abstract content, and when they combine, it creates new arts category which is called diagram text.
And we are talking about our research method, and we have done some good research in the previous time. In order to summarize the diagram text industry, we searched for a lot of books and material, and these four are very helpful for us. And besides, we have so many research which are on the internet, and Google Scholar and the library website are the most helpful websites to us.
And we are planning to do an interview with Taiwanese online diagram text creator in the following days. And this is one of the interviews that we want to have an interview with her. Momo Gaga. Momo Gaga is another Taiwanese online diagram text. Both of them are from Kaohsiung, so if there is second chance, we are planning to interview. And these are the few questions that we are planning to ask them, such as how can you keep stand out in the crowd when the culture and creative industry has become more popular nowadays? And what is your advice to people who also want to become a diagram text creator? At the end of the interview, we will calculate the author's answer. Thank you.
Okay, very good. Actually, I like your presentation. You did a very detailed search for all the diagram text. Can you tell me what are the criteria that you find those diagram text? 你怎么找到这些图？你怎么知道哪些才是你要介绍的？Because you have so many diagram texts, like you have a lot of good design for all the cartoon type of thing. How do you pick up? Do you pick up the top? How do you pick up those things that you introduced to us?
网络上面有一些统计，就是它有一个表格。
So they have like the most popular one, and then you just mention maybe the top 20 or top 50 of them. Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm very impressed at how I like your PowerPoint design actually to start with. Some of the slides you have too many words, but other than that, even I don't quite follow with the most popular diagram text, but I can get what you try to say with all the pictures. So I'm very impressed with what you present today so far. Okay. You also go through all the details with all the different cartoon or the diagram text that you introduced to the class. I also like I think one of the PowerPoint, you have very interesting and good tables that you compare with, like the design, the composition. You have like Disney, you have different, I like that table that you develop yourself actually. So in general, I think this is a very interesting and good study so far. I'm just more concerned if it's going to be a research paper, how are you going to write it down? Or is Taiji okay that you just edit, with the Wikipedia that you propose to start with? So my question for you is, how are you planning to have your paper version of your research project to look like? I think you did a very good job with the PowerPoint and also the presentation. But if it's going to be a paper, how are you going to write it down?
我们比如说，就是会另外做一些表格，然后去写是这样吗？
因为刚开始我记得你跟我说，吴黛西老师是 OK 叫你们就直接编 Wikipedia 对吧？
对啊。
所以你们还要找这方向去做吗？
有。对。
对，所以就变成你要做2个工了，就是你 Wikipedia 就已经很多编辑了，可是如果变成你还要再生出一本论文的话，它的做法是不大一样。Wikipedia 的编辑方法跟你生出一本像 Word 版这样的东西是不大一样的吧？你要去讨论说，可能要问一下 CJ， 学期末的一个成果到底应该是什么？包括如果你要用 Wikipedia， 那如果到最后是一个成果展，他们用video 的那个还可以 play， 可是如果是一个 Wikipedia 的时候，是不是你们也摆电脑，然后就秀在荧幕上让大家去滑动，说你设计出来是什么东西？那这样就不会要求你们可能像 Trisha 啊，还有这个Amy 啊 ，Judy、Chris， 还有Fred， 他们可能是应该是个报告，比较像一本书这样子的概念，你们的可能就不会是一本书，哎，
我们都应该都会做吧？
这样你们会很多事情要做，所以我觉得应该是先去问一下 CJ 他 expect 像你们这样要设计 Wikipedia 到最后的呈现方式是什么？因为其实你们 PowerPoint 给的东西已经非常的 detail， so you are detailed enough to even put all those information to Wikipedia, but maybe it's even too much for Wikipedia. Okay, so how are you going to decide which part to keep? You know, which part you are going to edit, and which part you are going to put in your final paper. Or maybe you edit some part of your Wikipedia and then you print out that page as your conclusion for your project. That works too, right? Because I think Wikipedia, you cannot put all the information you found, but even you have a lot of information. I don't want you to get rid of those because you spend a lot of time to look for those information, right? Very good job. I'm very impressed with what you did so far. Good job.
Thank you.
Presentation. The last question I'm going to ask you, what is your biggest challenge so far for your special project?
Literature.
Okay, you have hard time to find the theory base.
没有。
因为你们找到蛮多资料，为什么你还会说有困难的是 literature？ 是很难找到理论吗？还是
就是要去归纳，因为它
哦
涵盖的很多，我们要从中去找出共
因为
通点。
这个是一个新的东西，我们就要把所有看到的东西再归纳在一起。对。
然后放到维基百科也是想说，可以为这个就是这个名词做一个开头，让大家就算我们做错了，后面也可能会有更就是在这个方面
比较专业
的人来去更新这个资料。
Very good. I like your approach and I like your attitude. So even you are already give yourself button like even it's wrong, but then someone can make it better. So I like this mindset and I like this attitude. And so far, I think you did a very good job with collecting all the information. You have sufficient information to share with either it's going to be a special project or you can add it to the Wikipedia. Good job. Well done.
Thank
you. Good. All right, next, thank you. Christina 的吗？
对，
我可以去上一下洗手间吗？马上回来。
可以。大家就分别在洗手间。
Okay, I'm back. 好了，我回来了。I'm back.
OK。
Hello everyone, today we are going to have a report review on online food delivery platform and their impact on sustainability. My name is Christina and she's Samantha. And we already do a lot of work and our process, first of all, we will have our project introduction. Then it's our literature review, what we already do the work, and our method for the online food delivery platform, and our findings and discussions.
First, let's talk about the project introduction. So, why are we choosing this topic? It's because of the rise of the digital technology. The food delivery market has reshaped in recent years, from restaurant to consumer delivery to platform to consumer delivery specific. So this is a research object. They are Uber Eats and Foodpanda. So in the project, we aim to find out the answer of this question: which food delivery platform is the most sustainable in the market? So I'm going to introduce our three objectives. First, to identify practical factors affecting the development of the online food delivery service in Kaohsiung. Second, to recommend service providers so as to improve service quality and uptake growth for future development. And the last objective is to conclude which online food delivery platform has a potential development in Kaohsiung. Next, this is our literature review. So there are basic two concepts in our project. The first one is the online food delivery market. It's about the increasing chance due to the advanced development of technology. And the second one is online food delivery service. It is a system based on the electronic-based ordering system and process food orders from customer to restaurant.
So, how we are going to do our research? First of all, we will use our online survey. From online survey, we contest about 30 questions conducted by Google Front and have been distributed to those responses. So this is our online survey. First of all, we will collect all of the personal information, for example, their age and their the place of the residence and their preference about the food online delivery. We have two stations. First of all, as I mentioned, is the personal information about their salary, those kind of things. And second part is how they use the platforms. For example, the Uber Eats and Foodpandas. What time they use their platforms or where they order those kind of food delivery platform. So next, here's we have two kind of the data information collected. First of all is the survey. Then we will do the platform on our applications to use it. We have 10 types of experimental, and our period is from October from February 10 to February 20th, and our target is
from the restaurant of pizza, right? We order the same restaurant again and again for 10 times. And it is like to define all of these kind of the categories. They are for a more fair, for we will, how is it? We will say to define those kind of categories. To be fair, so we order the same restaurant and we define the average they are spending. They use. So we categorize our ranking into 4 categories. First of all is timeliness of the delivery, whether they are fast or slow at one time, and quality of the food, whether they're hot or they keep warm or cold. The third one is the driver's contact, and the last one is easy of correction and the return. So here's our findings and discussions. As you can see, we compare Uber Eats and Foodpanda. The color we will compare to the 4 is dark red and 5 is richer. So after we conduct our food delivery platforms, we found out the ranking from ourselves. We think it's 4, 5, 5. Next is come to the convenience and the ease of application. We give Uber Eats 4 points and Foodpanda 5 points because of Uber Eats gives our phone number to verification of our phone number. And for the ease of ordering process, we give both of the Foodpanda and Uber Eats 5 points because both of them are convenient. And for the second order process, and both of them gain 5 points because they both allow the same menu in the next page. And then come to the product selection. Both of them we give them 5 points because they both provide more than 10 types of skins. And for additional fee because Uber is required for the additional fee, so we give this and for the next point, because I type wrong in the additional fee, and for the minimum charge, they both gain 5 points because they have no minimum charge, and for the discount, and yes, for discount, they both get 5 points because they provide different discounts for the customer, and for the payment method, because Uber Eats can pay can have a payment on Uber Tickets and Uber Cash, so it gains 5 marks and Foodpanda gains 4 marks. So for this kind of experiment rental, it is reminded that the higher of the marks they get, and it's like the more customer they will like to use this kind of platform to order the food, so it's like a sustainability for their online food platform.
So we already do this kind of survey questionnaires, but we did not conduct, we did not distribute to others. So later we will distribute our online survey to others. Then we will analyze data collected by all of the survey, and we will do analyze application performance at the end, and use the analyze those kind of online database and collect all of our information, and we will compare the performance of each platform from Uber Eats to Foodpanda, and we will define the most sustainable platform. After that, we will define how they are successful and how they are contribute to others. Then it's the suggestion, conclusion, and our final reviews. And interactive PowerPoint slides. And in website, we will do graduation institution preparation. All of these are our reference. Thank you.
Okay. Actually, it's a very good presentation. So, Christina, maybe we should, we should meet sometimes, after your presentation, or either at the end of the semester or the beginning of next semester. I think this is a very interesting project you've done so far. I would like to, keep myself updated with your process because you did more than I expected, which is good job. I think this presentation you have so far, you have some basic data analysis already, and then you have very interesting research method that you apply, like you order from Foodpanda like 5 times and try to see if they have any differences if I didn't get it wrongly. So, right? Mm-hmm. So I think this is a very, very interesting way of doing your research. So let's make an appointment, and I would like to, know what is your logical thinking. And I think it's good that you do a PowerPoint presentation, but I'm also concerned about how you are going to write for your project, if it's going to be a thesis format, like how you are going to present all the different kind of material that you have so far. Mm-hmm. Okay. In general, I also like the way you already think about you only have like 4 months left. What is your future plan with a timetable? You already explained to us like week 6, week 7, what you expect to do, which is very good time management. You show it to us. Okay, so in general, it's a good job, and then I'm impressed with what you present so far. You also did a very detailed review for the literature, talking about this food delivery market, which is a very recent business, and I think your research has a contribution, analyze like why people choose the food delivery market and how it affects the food and service industry in general. So good job. I would like to ask you like the same question like the other team, since you already explained what you are going to do the next. My question for you is, what is your biggest challenge so far for your research project?
No, well, our time is not much. For example, we order the same food, and we need to eat pizza again and again and again because our topic is order the same restaurant 10 times and compare their service, their quality, and the speed of the food. So we already first of all we need to match the times when we have time, and we need to eat pizza again and again.
And you can have some volunteer in the class. I think they don't like to help you with the pizza. That's why I like your study. Like you control the variables. You decide that you only order from pizza and then from the same restaurants, and then you give them 10 times to try. Maybe you should lower your expectation, but you already do it 10 times. So don't change it, okay? So you only choose, like, how many times you achieved so far? 10 times already?
10 times already.
From Foodpanda?
Yes, Foodpanda. But we did not, we still need to compare Uber Eats. So we need to eat more 10 times. because we need to compare and we need to because if you only test for one time, it's not fair, it's not accurate. So we order like 10 times to yes, to conduct our research.
I really like the idea, and then I look forward to the comparison between Foodpanda and Uber Eats. I think in general, the restaurant quality shouldn't change too much, but the whole point would be the delivering staff, you know, or how they manage the quality of the delivery. And that's the whole point of the study. And you already control the variables, which is the restaurant part. So you only focus on analyzing the variables, which is food delivery. So very good research design. Very impressed. Okay, good job.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good. So we still have one more.
One more.
Candy and Emma.
Ready?
Yeah. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. If you're ready, feel free to get started. Okay.
Today our topic is analysis and comparison of the fast food industry. I'm Candy, and this is Emma, and our instructor is John. This is our content.
Emma, you might want to be louder. I cannot hear you well.
Okay. This is our content, and first is introduction and literature and review, and next is research method, and we are still being produced.
With the increasing proportion of foreign food and the growing number of fast food stores, how to make consumers choose their brands and become loyal customer is a big challenge for the catering industry. And in particular, it's not easy to maintain a good and long-term relationship with consumers. And in the fast food industry, McDonald's, which is the first to enter the Taiwan market, has always been a leader in the fast food industry for its and peers on speed and convenience. And there are more than 300 branches in Taiwan. For ahead of other fast food industries, they found the American style of McDonald's, Moss Burger, a Japanese fast food restaurant, which stresses delicacy and neatness, with an immense feel of leisure and texture in appearance and in interior design and lighting. In recent years, Moss Burger has also expanded its number of stores, the number of which is only second to McDonald's, and therefore we take Moss Burger and McDonald's the lane to study and compare and explore the food lifestyle of its consumers. Then we can understand the difference between them. So we take the fast food industry as the research topic. mainly to understand the reason for their popularity and the secret to their success. And what kind of business model does McDonald's, the leader of the fast food industry, make them more and more famous? The chain stores are opening more and more, and it has almost reached the point of global popularity. Can compare with other fast food stores, we are very curious about the different features and ideas that everyone loves. So we decided to do further research. We choose McDonald's and Mos Burger as the two companies for comparison. Both of them are national chain fast food restaurants, but one is from the USA and the other is from Japan. In the environment where most of the fast food restaurants are American style, how can this Japanese fast food restaurant make a difference from others? What are the motives of consumers who choose Mos Burger and McDonald's?
Next, we talk about the literature review. And the McDonald's of the history is in 1940, Richard McDonald's and Lawrence McDonald's brothers founded McDonald's barbecue restaurant in the USA, and which started the history of today's McDonald's. And the core value of the McDonald's is widely supported by consumers for its core values of quality, service, cleanliness, and value, and has been deeply rooted in Taiwan for a long time. And the products and services of McDonald's are very diversified. It introduced new products from time to time and limits the launch period of new products in the way of age restriction to attract consumers. In terms of service, adhere to FAF is for fast, correct, and friendly that customers enjoy efficient service process. And the Mos Burger of its history is multinational fast food restaurant chain originated from Japan, and it was founded in Tokyo in 1972. So far, its business has expanded all over the world, but its main distribution points are still concentrated in Asia. As of March 2018, there are 1,693 stores in the world, of which 1,341 are in Japan. And the Mos Burger core value is focused on the health and emphasizing that the product is made of fresh food, and through the development of healthy meals, we can establish a differentiated corporate image in the hearts of the consumers. And for the products and services, Mos Burger is different from other fast food restaurants in that it uses Oriental staple food, rice, instead of the bread and steak. And its main ingredients are roast meat instead of fried products. And in addition, vegetables are added to reduce the calorie of the hamburger and make consumers eat more healthily. And in terms of service, call center is specially set to reduce the waiting time of customers. And this is our research method, and we are going to use the literature research and the online survey. One is for the quantitative research, and one is for qualitative research. And literature analysis, literature research, we will use the literature analysis method. And the data are collected by internet information, newspaper, and magazines. And we will analyze with SWOT analysis method. And for the online survey, questionnaire survey,
made for McDonald's and Lost Burger to investigate customer satisfaction. That's it.
Okay, very good. Okay, so I think you did a good job with your literature review, and you introduced about this, burger, Moss Burger to us. Can you go back to the first slides? Because when you get started, the voice wasn't loud enough. The first PowerPoint.
This one.
But it doesn't share from my screen. Need to pray. Okay. So what's your topic? Can you read it to me?
Analysis and comparison of the food industry.
The comparison and what?
Analysis of food industry.
Okay, so that's why I want to remind you, this is a very big topic. So if I didn't listen to the presentation yet, I would expect that you are talking about the food industry, which is a very big area that you focus on, right? So how are you going to compare with every companies in the food industry, which is not possible, right? So maybe if you only compare, say, Moss Burger with Burger King, or you only focus on the fast food industry, they might make more sense. Okay, so you can say analyze of maybe like pricing strategy or food quality of the fast food industry, an example of Moss Burger. Do you see what I tried to do? I really narrowed down the topic that I want to focus. Instead of very general topic, when I see this topic, I expect, okay, you are going to analyze maybe the entire world for the food industry, but you focus on like Taiwan, you focus on a particular store, you focus on only key points that you want to analyze, right? So it's totally fine that you have a small topic, but it's very clear and loud for people to understand what you try to do your research about. Okay, other than that, I think you did a good job. This is going to be like I think it's more like a research base, more like academic. You do a detailed literature review, and then you have these research methods. You are going to do, I think you start with the literature, and then you are going to do the questionnaire, which is a very traditional way of, do the literature review as to start with, and then you collect data. Okay, so I would suggest you to just, be more particular with the topic, and then, keep going on with what kind of items you are going to put for your questionnaire, just like the advice I give to the previous team. It's totally fine that you use other research questionnaire. That's why I suggest you to have a more detailed oriented topic for your research. So you focus on few variables. I think 2 or 3 variables will be fine for your study. So you can either focus on maybe marketing or service quality of the customer satisfaction, and then you would be able to find a questionnaire focusing on these few variables, and then you can further test the relationship between these variables. Okay? 所以题目太大了，稍微小一点点，你才比较好做。看你要了解这个餐饮业的什么区块，比如顾客再回来使用的意愿啊，或者是定价啊，或者是品牌啊，或者是反正就找几个比较具体的变数，你这样比较好去分析。Okay. So other than that, I think it's good. And then I also like your PowerPoint design. My question for you is, what is your next step for this research project?
And we are going to focus on the literature method and the online survey.
Okay.
And, and collect the data, and we will analysis.
Okay, so who are going to be your samples? How are you going to do the sampling? 你们样本会是谁？你们的朋友吗？还是？ So again, if you are going to do an online survey targeting at your friends or classmates, then the sample would have a little bit bias, like you are asking about the college students. So maybe your topic can either even like narrow down a little bit to an example of college students purchasing behavior, things like that. So be very specific, because if you only focus on your classmates or your people at your age, after you analyze the data, it doesn't reflect the population. If you target at all the general customers, then the picture that you try to draw and present, it's not quite what the population looks like. Okay, so make sure that your topic fit for your sampling, and then your conclusion can only explain what you have. You cannot elaborate too much for those data that you didn't collect from. Okay, right. Yeah. The next one is, what is your biggest challenge so far, and how do you solve the problem?
Biggest challenge is we have no idea to start the special topic, and as you say, our topic is too big to focus on what we need to research. And after you say to me, we know we should narrow the topic and focus on some details to do the research.
Yeah, it would be easier too, like if you end like too big, it would be hard for you to focus like which literature you are going to look for, and then you will have hard time to even develop your questionnaire. Who is your advisor?
Zhang Hao.
Okay, so if you have any questions, feel free to come to me. We can talk about that. Okay. Okay. I can see you spend quite a lot of efforts and time to work on this special project. Okay, continue with the good work. Great. Okay. All right, good job.
Thank you.
Is there anyone left in the class?
No.
Only you? Okay. All right, Christina is around, right?
Everybody's here.
Okay, good job. So I think we extend our class this week. Do you want to turn around so I can type?
Right,
okay, good job for this final presentation. We already record everything, so I'll share the link to CJ. Good job. So he can take a look. I wish I can see you over there. So I don't think we will have the class next week, right? You want to have a class?
No class.
下周还要上课吗？
不用。
Because I think we already extend the class for the presentation, so I think next week I would give you back the final. I mean, last week from the final take-home project, you will see a grading. I think in general, I give you very good grades for your final presentation. I'm very impressed for what you did so far. A lot of group already exceed my expectation from this semester. Because for the first semester, usually I only expect you to like maybe cover for the chapter 3, which is talking about your research method. But some of the group, you already have some basic data that you can analyze. So I'm very impressed with your class. Hopefully I can see, for sure, I'll see you in the class next semester, okay? So keep up with the good work. Again, if you have any question regarding to your special project, feel free to send me an email, and then we can set up an appointment with a Zoom meeting, and we can talk about that. Right, very good. So no class, but then I will try to create a Moodle section. I think I already have with the help from Christina. You can upload your PowerPoints over there, and then if you have some Word file ready to submit, feel free to do so. Otherwise, we wouldn't have the class next week. And I wish you all have a great winter and a happy Chinese New Year. Right. Good job.